In an era defined by globalization and technological advancements, the question of identity has taken center stage. Identity politics has sparked both fervent support and fierce criticism. It shapes our public discourse and our place in the world. Is it a force for progress or a dangerous form of division? These are real-world dilemmas with tangible consequences. Identity politics is complex, rooted in historical injustices and social inequalities. It demands intellectual honesty, empathy, and confronting uncomfortable truths. To navigate identity politics, we turn to philosophy, where thinkers have grappled with questions of identity, justice, and power. By drawing upon philosophical insights, we can understand the complexities of identity politics. From ancient Greeks to contemporary theorists, philosophy offers ideas to navigate this terrain. Through works of Charles Taylor, Michel Foucault, John Rawls, Hannah Arendt, Judith Butler, and Alexis de Tocqueville, we can unravel the threads connecting identity, politics, and justice. This is the challenge and promise of identity politics. Before we delve into identity politics, we must first grapple with the concept of identity itself. What does it mean to have an identity? Is it fixed and immutable or fluid and dynamic, shaped by experiences and social contexts? Philosophers have long debated the nature of identity. Modern philosophy reflects the influence of social and cultural factors on our sense of self. This understanding is crucial as we turn to identity politics, where the personal and political intersect. Canadian philosopher Charles Taylor argues that our identities are deeply intertwined with how we are perceived and recognized by others. He suggests we all have a fundamental need for recognition. Marginalized groups often face misrepresentation and invisibility. This lack of recognition is a form of social injustice. Taylor's politics of recognition framework helps understand identity politics. These movements seek equality of recognition, not just resources. They challenge dominant narratives and demand respect. Taylor warns against essentialism and societal fragmentation. The paradox of identity unity or division. Taylor's work highlights the tension between recognition and unity in identity politics. Recognizing unique experiences is essential for justice. Identity politics can challenge systemic inequalities, but excessive focus on group identity can lead to division. It can create barriers and foster hostility. We must balance recognition with social cohesion. Engage in respectful dialogue to navigate this complex terrain. Embrace differences while recognizing our shared humanity. This is the promise of identity politics in the 21st century. Michel Foucault, Power, Knowledge, and the Construction of Identity. Foucault's work on power, knowledge, and discourse offers a critical lens to examine how identities are constructed. He challenges the traditional view of power as something held by a dominant group. Instead, he argues that power is fluid and pervasive, shaping our thoughts and behaviors. Power is not just repressive, but also productive. It creates categories and defines norms. Foucault's concept of discourse is key to understanding identity politics. Discourses reflect and reinforce existing power relations. For example, gender discourse has historically been dominated by patriarchal norms. Foucault's work raises questions about how group identities are constructed and who benefits. The ethical dilemma: reproducing or challenging power structures. Foucault's insights into power and discourse present a significant ethical dilemma for identity politics. If our identities are shaped by power relations and dominant discourses, as Foucault suggests, then how can we engage in identity politics without inadvertently reproducing the very structures we seek to dismantle? For example, if certain identity groups are historically marginalized and disadvantaged, their experiences and perspectives may be shaped by this marginalization. While it is essential to give voice to these experiences and to challenge the systems that have created them, there is a risk that focusing solely on these experiences could inadvertently reinforce essentialist notions of identity, perpetuating the idea that certain groups are inherently defined by their oppression. Furthermore, there is a danger that identity politics, in its pursuit of recognition and justice for specific groups, could inadvertently create new hierarchies and divisions within society. If we prioritize the needs and demands of certain identity groups over others, we risk creating a zero-sum game where progress for one group is seen as coming at the expense of another. This can lead to resentment, backlash, and a breakdown of social solidarity. Navigating this ethical dilemma requires a delicate balance. It is crucial to acknowledge and address the historical injustices and systemic inequalities that have shaped the experiences of marginalized groups. However, it is equally important to avoid essentializing identity, to recognize the diversity within groups, and to strive for solutions that promote justice and equality for all, not just for a select few. The ethical challenges posed by Foucault's work do not negate the importance of identity politics. Rather, they highlight the need for a more nuanced and sophisticated approach to this complex issue. Engaging in identity politics ethically requires a constant process of self-reflection, critique, and a willingness to challenge our own assumptions and biases. One way to address these ethical concerns is to move beyond a purely identity-based framework and to focus on broader principles of justice and equality. By grounding our activism in universal values such as human rights, dignity, and fairness, we can create a more inclusive and equitable society for all, regardless of their identity. This does not mean ignoring or downplaying the significance of identity. Our identities are an integral part of who we are, and they shape our experiences in profound ways. However, by focusing on shared values and common goals, we can build bridges between different identity groups and create a more just and equitable society for all. Ultimately, the goal of identity politics should not be to create a hierarchy of identities or to pit one group against another. Rather, it should be to create a society where everyone feels seen, heard, and valued for who they are, where diversity is celebrated as a strength, and where everyone has an equal opportunity to thrive. This requires a constant process of dialogue, empathy, and a willingness to challenge our own perspectives and biases. John Rawls' work offers a framework for justice, navigating identity, politics, and fairness. Rawls' A Theory of Justice introduces the veil of ignorance, a thought experiment for just principles. Imagine designing society's principles without knowing your own position. This ensures fairness, prioritizing the least advantaged. Rawls's theory emphasizes equality of opportunity for all. Identity politics, focusing on marginalized groups, challenges Rawls' theory of justice. Rawls emphasizes impartiality, while identity politics centers on specific injustices faced by groups like racial minorities, women, or LGBTQ+ individuals. Critics argue it violates Rawls' principle of impartiality, fostering division by giving preferential treatment based on identity. Proponents argue Rawls' theory fails to address systemic inequalities, necessitating targeted policies for true justice. This debate raises questions about equality, group rights, and addressing historical injustices without creating new inequalities. Finding the right balance remains an ongoing challenge. Reconciling identity politics and Rawlsian justice requires careful consideration. One approach is recognizing the intersectionality of identities, addressing multiple forms of disadvantage. Policies should be tailored to specific needs while upholding universal principles of fairness. Fostering empathy and understanding across different identity groups is crucial. The goal is a society where individuals embrace multiple identities, free from discrimination. This requires a commitment to both individual rights and social justice. Hannah Arendt's work offers insights into the impact of identity politics on social unity. Arendt advocates for pluralism, where diverse groups coexist and engage in dialogue. In The Human Condition, she argues true political action emerges from a public realm of equals. This space allows for diverse viewpoints and shared values. Pluralism involves valuing and engaging with differences, expanding our understanding. Conflicts, approached with respect, can strengthen social fabric and understanding of the common good. Does identity politics foster inclusion or exacerbate divisions? Proponents argue it achieves social justice by giving marginalized groups a platform. It raises awareness of unique challenges, promoting empathy and respect for diversity. Critics argue it can be divisive, fragmenting society into competing interest groups. This fragmentation can undermine social solidarity and make addressing shared challenges difficult. The debate continues on the best approach to achieving a just and inclusive society. Fostering meaningful dialogue in a fragmented public sphere is challenging. The digital age often reinforces existing beliefs, making respectful discourse difficult. Social media can create echo chambers, limiting exposure to diverse perspectives. Declining trust in traditional institutions exacerbates these challenges. Navigating this requires seeking diverse perspectives and engaging in respectful dialogue. Finding common ground is essential for a just and harmonious society. The internet and social media transform how we express identities. Online, individuals curate personas, connecting with like-minded people globally. This empowers marginalized groups to share stories and challenge narratives. However, it also amplifies social divisions and creates echo chambers. Digital fragmentation hinders open-minded dialogue and empathy. The role of technology in shaping identities and social cohesion is crucial. Judith Butler's work on performativity shapes understanding of identity, especially online. Butler argues gender is a social construct produced through repeated actions. Online, individuals perform chosen identities, crafting personas. This can be liberating, allowing exploration of different aspects of self. However, it can also create pressure to conform to norms. The performative aspect of online identity has both liberating and constraining effects. Echo chambers and filter bubbles challenge identity and technology. These phenomena expose individuals to information confirming existing beliefs. Social media algorithms and search engines contribute to this filtering. Echo chambers reinforce prejudices and deepen divisions. Overcoming this requires diversifying information diets and challenging biases. Engaging with diverse perspectives is essential for meaningful dialogue. Alexis de Tocqueville warned about the dangers of factions in democracy. Factions pursue narrow agendas, undermining the common good. Tocqueville's concerns are relevant today with the rise of identity politics. Identity-based movements can increase polarization and fragmentation. This creates a zero-sum mentality, hardening positions and reducing empathy. Addressing these challenges is crucial for democratic governance. Identity politics, democracy, and the search for common ground. The challenges posed by identity politics to democracy are not insurmountable. However, addressing them requires a conscious effort to find common ground, to bridge divides, and to foster a sense of shared purpose and belonging that transcends narrow identity-based interests. This begins with recognizing that while our identities are important, they do not tell the whole story of who we are or what we value. As human beings, we share a common humanity that transcends our differences in race, religion, gender, or sexual orientation. We all aspire to live in a society that is just, equitable, and compassionate, where everyone has the opportunity to reach their full potential. Focusing on these shared values and aspirations can help to create a sense of common purpose and solidarity that can serve as a counterweight to the divisive forces of identity politics. In addition to emphasizing our shared humanity, it is also essential to create spaces for respectful dialogue and engagement across difference. This requires moving beyond the echo chambers and filter bubbles that often characterize online discourse and engaging in face-to-face conversations where individuals can share their experiences, listen to and learn from others, and challenge their own assumptions and biases. Universities, community centers, and faith-based organizations can all play a role in creating these spaces for dialogue and bridge building. By fostering a culture of empathy, respect, and open-mindedness, we can create a more inclusive and cohesive society where identity politics, rather than being a source of division, can become a catalyst for positive social change. Navigating the complexities, identity politics, and the human experience. Our identities are fluid constructs shaped by personal experiences, social interactions, and cultural narratives. The tension between the need for recognition and the potential for group identity to unite and divide is evident. The digital age amplifies divisions, but also creates new avenues for marginalized voices. Identity politics is about the struggle for recognition and challenging injustice. It requires listening, learning, and engaging in empathy, even when difficult. A call to action, cultivating dialogue, empathy, and a shared future. The future hinges on our ability to navigate identity politics with wisdom, compassion, and commitment to the common good. We must move beyond us versus them, recognizing our interconnected struggles and embracing diversity. This is a call to celebrate our differences and recognize the humanity that binds us. Create a world where everyone feels seen, heard, and valued. Embrace diversity as a source of strength and innovation. Foster meaningful dialogue, both online and offline. Support educational institutions that foster empathy and cross-cultural understanding. Challenge discrimination. Stand up for the marginalized and advocate for a just world. The path forward will not be easy, but with humility and compassion, we can transform identity politics into a catalyst for positive change.